Bum ba-dum 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 bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum bum ba-dum 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 dum bum.
This is Filmplay.
I would have done the whole thing too, but I have no rhythm.
You should have done it anyway.
That's probably very annoying on the other screen.
Probably.
All right. So welcome everyone to Filmplay.
My name's Justin.
And I'm Todd, and we have a very special guest.
Special ed.
This is Special Ed.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
Welcome to everybody. Our good friend Daniel Day, the guy whose basement we actually shoot out of.
It's basically shit out of. He's pretty much our director, our producer, everything.
He's our man behind the camera. He's the man of 1,000 faces.
He's Lon Chaney?
Oh, God, it makes so much sense now.
Is that reference to Game of Thrones?
Probably.
Okay.
What, the man of 1,000 faces? No, there was an old-time actor in the silent era called Lon Chaney. He was known for really good makeup. So he was the Phantom. He was the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh.
What else?
Wasn't he the Invisible Man?
No. He couldn't do any Universal. He died right before... He was going to be Dracula, and he died right before that.
Oh, that's right. No, yeah, it was Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
So, Dan, why don't you introduce yourself and exactly what it is you do?
According to some people on the web right now, I'm not to be trusted.
Wink.
Not at all. So...
That's okay. I'm not supposed to be trusted either.
Apparently, I'm at the bottom of the rung when it's supposed to be in terms of being trusted.
Well, as you can see, we run the E2 network. Basically, we help people out where it's needed. Throw a bunch of, independent content out there. Try and just help people out. Videographer, producer, director, all of it. Name it.
Pornographer.
I even run, pornographer. Even if it's very hard to find those, you must look a little bit deeper than what you're doing.
Hard. Deep.
You said deep. That's pretty much it.
So we know we told you guys last week we were going to talk about video game adaptations.
But we switched up and we're actually going to move that one next week because there's something else that I really wanted to talk about this week.
He wanted to talk about porn.
It's actually really true, especially after seeing Tomb Raider.
Yeah, exactly, because, it would work perfectly. They're super horny brothers.
Tomb Invader.
I did watch Tomb Invader last night, which is not a porno.
Oh, God.
Sounds like it.
I know, right? But it was made by Asylum Films. It was Tomb Raider. It was Asylum Films' version of Tomb Raider. And for anyone who doesn't know what Asylum Films are, they are low budget crap, and they pretty much make ripoffs. And the movies would come out a week before the regular movie would come out, like Transmorphers, Atlantic Rim.
Ooh.
How do you make a silent version of Transformers?
It's a ripoff version.
Oh, okay, it's just a rip-off version. I thought you were talking about it was all they were silent.
No, there's just a complete ripoff with a $10,000 budget.
God, they actually had $10,000. I'd love $10,000 to go make something.
Is that illegal?
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Because
They only been sued once. because they made a caveman movie, and they called it The Hobbit, and they released it a week before The Hobbit came out, and they lost the lawsuit because it's like, guys, yes, we understand there are cavemen called hobbits, but you're clearly trying to just make money off of The Hobbit.
I mean, it's better than saying, "Oh, look at these Neanderthals." Why did they just call that? Why did they just call it fucking Spelunkers, Neanderthals?
Because they want people to buy the DVD, so they have to call it Hobbit.
Why is it there's never been a movie called Spelunkers? I want to see a movie called Spelunkers now. I don't know why.
Let's make it. What's it going to be about?
Nothing, and I do mean nothing about spelunking.
Okay.
It's gonna take place in like the middle of the ocean, nowhere near caves. So the title of the film is gonna be a complete and utter lie.
To the last 5 minutes, it should be they're out in the middle of the ocean, they're trying to find treasure, and they keep going and it's just like they're giant fights with sharks and octopuses, and in the last 5 minutes they find a cave and they have to go spelunking in the cave to get to the treasure.
Because everybody only cares about the ending.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about Critics.
But before we talk about this, I want to talk about what was it called again?
Honey Boy. Honey Boy, written and I'm assuming directed.
Written and directed and produced by Shia
Shia
LaBeouf.
Fucking Shia LaBeouf.
It's his autobiography of his life. He plays his father, who's a sex predator, by the way.
Not necessarily it didn't even say necessarily about his life, but it was about his time as a child actor on Even Stevens.
Okay. So I didn't read. All I knew it was about his life.
Has this already been released?
He is working on it right now. He has his lead actor
Lucas Hedges.
Yeah, Lucas Hedges.
Yeah, he was in Manchester by the Sea. He was actually in some Disney production, so I'm assuming he has full fucking knowledge of the Disney shenanigans. But he was on Disney XD, he's the extreme. Yeah. And he was also in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, the smaller part.
Yeah. And I just all I wanted to say is like it's written by him, directed by him.
Oh, wait, 1 second. He's also in Lady Bird. So he was in 3. Count them 3 of the past 2 years, like, biggest critically acclaimed movies.
Laughing to cover it up, huh?
I only laughed because you laughed.
The chair was squawking at him.
I'm not going to lie, people, because I'm very honest. I farted.
He did, and he's kidding. Stuck a whoopee.
But I just I want the movie to end in the woods, him killing people.
And then you find out
up on the Disney set, freaking slaughtering everybody, going Even Stevens style, like absolutely crazy, murderous rampage. First he takes out his sister, then he goes for his mom, and then his brother. Did he have a brother?
Yeah, he had a brother.
He had a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, and there was Beans, a little kid.
Yeah.
Never understood Beans. Beans
was just there. That was the joke. He was just there.
Beans freaks me out. I sincerely thought that kid was gonna end up being a fucking serial killer.
I thought so too, because he was in The Cat in the Hat.
That's right, he was. What was that?
Is that Michael Myers' Cat in the Hat?
Yes.
Yeah. Little.
Yep.
He was the little fat kid.
Little fat kid. I was wondering where he looked so familiar.
He's from Even Stevens.
That is him, huh?
Yes, it is.
No shit.
So let's actually get to today's topic, and that is criticism.
Trying to pull up the outline because we had to make this on the way here.
And this is why we have Dan on here for 2 reasons. A, because we really like the idea of having Dan on here to talk about this, because he is a director and a producer and all like that. And 2, and this is the main reason why he's on tonight, we usually don't get him on.
Yeah.
He's usually behind the camera, and we thought this was perfect time to do it.
Well, there was a third reason, in that we said for our 4th episode we wanted to bring somebody on, like, kind of, because like we've been doing this for a month now. This is basically our month anniversary, so to speak. Might as well do something. Thank you.
Where's our cake?
Fuck.
No budget.
No, we should spread a cardboard cake. This is fake. No budget, fuckers.
Yeah, we could have carved up a freaking cake out of cardboard. I guess we could have.
I should have brought my diabetes cake. Yeah, every once in a while, I just go all out on a cake, and I made last week I made a 5-layer cheesecake. I didn't cook it all the way through, so the brownie crust like fell down.
Is that why you sent it to me? Like it looked like a collapsed souffle.
Yeah, and there were supposed to be chocolate chip cookies. I screwed up on that because I decided to put heated butter on the chocolate chips, so all the chocolate chips melted. Okay, and then I didn't leave it in the little cake holder long enough, so when I opened it, it just fell apart. So this is giant, like, it looks like a chocolate turtle, like giant chocolate turtle, like oozing out from its sides.
This is why we don't eat your cooking, Todd.
Hey, the last cake I made you liked.
I did.
That was I think that was a brownie cookie M&M cake.
I don't think it had M&Ms in it. It had fudge.
Yeah, it was a fudge brownie cookie cake.
Yeah.
This is why we call it diabetes cake.
So, we're here tonight. We're first going to start out by talking about exactly what does criticism mean to us and what exactly is the public perception of it. To me personally, nowadays, criticism and critics are just a very, I can't even say toxic community. It's a very toxic ideology. Because if you really get down to it, a lot of critics nowadays, like actual critics, you know, yes, some of them suck, some of them can be kind of asshats, but most of them aren't. It's mostly just the way that people view them.
Yeah.
As being snooty and stuck up and just, you know, my opinion is better than yours because I saw this movie too. Probably first.
I saw the Tree of Life and I liked it. I still don't understand it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the Tree of Life?
No, I don't want to. It looks really stupid. Like, we should have talked about that last week. We were talking about pretentious. I haven't even seen it. I can already fucking tell.
It was a very good looking film.
Yeah.
I will say that.
But Dan, what's your general overview of this general, you know, ideology, community, all that jazz? What do you think of critics?
Critics are critics. They will be critics. Well, I don't know. I think in order to actually be a critic, you should have some experience within the film industry because you have no fucking idea how much it took to make that so-called piece of shit.
Yeah.
Unless you actually stood in those people's shoes. I mean, for instance, you got a lot of people bashing. A lot of people bashing Evil Dead, the remake. And with how many months upon months upon months of them training those actors to fit those roles perfectly, especially the girl that was absolutely 100% like, you know, just fit her part and worked it. You know, the main character, I can't even think of her name right now because it's been so long since I've seen it, but she had to go through a lot, you know. She had to go through a big transformation in order to be able to reach that character.
Right.
And when you got directors that will push their actors to go into that sort of transformation, that means that not only do they care about their production, but they also care how their actors are, you know. It goes beyond that, but, you know, just everything. You could tell that they care. So, in order for a critic to actually be able to criticize a movie, I think they should be working in the production field. That's pretty much it.
Oh, I completely agree, but kind of a counterpoint to that. You know, Todd and I are both critics ourselves, and you know we.
Critics.
Critics. Mostly dicks. We're just dicks towards fucking movies.
Your beard's fake. I'm gonna be a dick. End of discussion.
Let's see, you guys have owned up to that expectation. You know, you're allowed to be dicks because you have had some time behind the set. You
Right.
have done movies. You have done, you know, everything. So
Right. But at the same time, you know, if I were to come in and say, you know, like, let's say this critic who hasn't worked in the industry comes along and gives this criticism, kind of going along what you were saying like, oh, you know, this person wasn't too good. But, you know, they could sit there and pour their hearts into it.
yeah,
It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good. They make that criticism. I can come along and make that same exact criticism, and then everybody goes towards, you know, that critic and just like, no, you know, you're wrong about this, because, you know, they poured their heart into this, and they come over to me and they suck. They're like, oh, maybe they did suck because this guy actually knows what the fuck he's talking about.
they took our germs.
I took our chair.
I'm sorry when you did that voice. That's all I could think of. I mean, yeah, it's true. You know, somebody could come out, you know, from the outside who has absolutely no experience in the film industry and have the same exact, you know,
Right.
perception of the movie that somebody who in the film industry would. But I'm just saying it boils down to the fact that it's like, you know, it's so, I don't know. It's like, you know, in order to be able to, it even goes with journalism. In order to be able to criticize something, you know, you put yourself in their shoes.
I can agree with that. And I totally, like I said, I totally agree. You should have some knowledge of, you know, what it
Figures.
takes to go behind the scenes and actually make this stuff. Because at the end of the day, you know, to really have a complete knowledge, you need to have a complete fucking knowledge.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just kind of talking out of your ass.
I totally agree on that one. I mean, the best film critic of all time, Roger Ebert. You know how he started out?
Bigglesworth.
He started off writing a Sex Pistols movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
What?
And no one wants to talk about this, but he might have even started out writing porn. Gotta start somewhere, people.
Want to say something? Say something.
I love how we just go into talking about porn, suddenly there's pussy.
Doo-doo, boom.
This isn't bestiality, folks. My cat is not up for sale.
This is not the shit.
I have $1 million.
Sold.
I have $1 million. No, I have $10 million. Let me make a movie with that cat starring Sally Hawkins.
What's it gonna be about? I need to know what this movie's gonna be about.
I'm gonna have this cat starring in basically a remake of Werewolves on Wheels.
Sold.
That's what I thought.
I had to think about it because Werewolves on Wheels was not a very good movie.
We can make it better with a cat.
Any movie can be better with a cat.
That is true. Except
The
Cat in
Shape
the
of Water. And The Cat in the Hat.
No, there was just cats in the Shape of Water. They got eaten.
Did you just say and the cat in the hat?
The Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat to me is like considered the worst movie ever made. It does not matter what people are going to do. That movie is still going to suck.
Well, to counter that, I happen to like that movie, if only for reasons of nostalgia.
Michael Myers.
You're now dead to me.
But see, what does your opinion matter over mine? Isn't that kind of what we're talking about here?
I still can't believe that little fat fuck was from Even Stevens. I'm still stuck on that. I did not realize that was him.
It just fucking blew your mind.
You did know it was Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you could tell him from a mile away, you know. It's Mike Myers, but I actually really enjoyed him. Especially So I Married an Axe Murderer. Oh my god, that movie is fucking hilarious.
So, Todd, what's your general perception of criticism?
Oh yeah, sorry for swearing.
I think now it's a problem because we have the internet. And let's face it, the internet is more for porn.
It's internet is for porn.
There's a song for that.
Yeah, the internet is for porn.
Why you think
know.
the net was born? Porn.
And I feel like, there was a time where names like Roger Ebert, Richard Roper,
Gene Siskel,
Leonard Moulton, those were names of the industry, and now all of a sudden everyone can now voice their opinion.
Yeah.
And they're always trying to go one step beyond everyone else to be like, I'm right, you're wrong. And that to me is a problem.
Yeah, but if you give people too much freedom,
Exactly.
if you give them a voice to voice their own opinion, or
This is why we need communism.
don't worry, it's coming to it.
We need communism because people can't shut up their opinions on movies. How dare they have opinions?
But I mean, it's my problem is a lot of times
dare you say My Little Pony was bad? Fuck you.
But it was bad. It was generic.
You never saw it.
I never.
Neither was son. I tried to get you to see it, but you refused.
It was so good.
I didn't want to go up to the people and be like, I need a ticket for My Little Pony.
I looked him right in the eye with a smile. Hey, can I get him a ticket to My Little Pony?
That's when you hire a homeless person for $20 so he can get his liquor.
No. Because you know what happens then? Everyone's gonna look at the homeless guy and think he's going in there to rape children.
Or masturbate to the ponies.
There you go.
Yeah.
But,
If My Little Pony wasn't this disgusting thing, in my opinion, I think it's a disgusting thing.
or at least like the brony sexual aspect of the fandom.
No, I even think if you're a 30-year-old man who likes My Little Pony, I kind of have a problem with that.
I can't see why. I'm a
Hey,
firm
if
believer
you
in
have
like
children,
what you like.
it's different.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in like what you like, so long
And
as
I
no one's
agree with
getting
you.
hurt.
Okay, me and you, if we watch My Little Pony, I'm kind of okay with it. Okay?
Because you and I are watching it ironically.
But we watch so much crap, and we're critics. I'm always going to put that in quotation marks because we're not really critics. And
You never thought about getting into a jerk circle? Popping in a VHS of My Little Pony, we'll bring over a bunch of friends.
first off,
Get a little jerk circle going.
it's not going to be a VHS. It has to be a DVD. We live in the modern times now.
No, VHS.
But there is no My Little Pony on VHS unless we go with the original
that
crap.
vintage feel, that beautiful vintage feel.
Can I just want to tell this story real quick. There's one time me and my roommate were actually sitting there having a discussion, a serious, straight-faced discussion about the proper etiquette of a circle jerk. It was fucking great.
Good night,
You almost
everybody.
made me do a spit take. You
think I'm kidding you? I'm not. To ask about him next week, because next week we're bringing my roommate on.
All right.
We'll
But-
be talking about circle jerking.
As you're saying, Todd. Sorry.
So, I mean, I feel okay with, like, me and you or Dad, but, like, the neighbor down the street,
Who doesn't have any kids, who doesn't...
yeah,
you know.
doesn't have any kids, doesn't, and just randomly puts on this cartoon being like, yeah, now I have a problem. I have a problem when he goes to the comic book store and he wants to pick up some Brony figures. I am not allowed to say this crap because I no longer have a job.
I'm sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
So overall, what would you say that in terms of like the criticism, the critics, would you say it's more the viewers and the audience, or would you say it is more the critics that is kind of making this toxic? Because I personally say it's the audience.
I agree.
It's definitely the audience because I'm going to use Marvel and DC as my example. If you're a Marvel fan, you can't be a DC fan. If you're a DC fan, you can't be a Marvel fan.
You have to pick a side.
That's not true.
Well, obviously it's not true, but there are people out there.
Yeah.
They're like, if they had a gun, they would look at you and shoot you and don't tell you pick a side or else.
Boom Studios.
you know,
Look him right in the eye and I say that with a smile.
you can't say things bad about Suicide Squad without upsetting a shit ton of people. You
That's
can't
true.
say anything negative about Black Panther, or else you're going to upset people.
People find their opinions to be so valid to the point where they become consequential.
Yeah.
Like, if it actually becomes so integral to their personality and to their personality, should I say? Let's realize people have a personality. That it actually like feeds into not just their personality but their ego. You screw with something like that, it bruises their ego.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not even just with the Marvel and DC crap. Ghostbusters,
Which one?
the new one.
Okay.
Oh, got a bunch of people. How could you do that to our series? How could you make them women?
Yeah, how dare you?
It's by the same writers. Shut the fuck up and enjoy it.
But I mean, there's a prime example. And sometimes they don't even see the movie; they're just going to criticize it anyway.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean, for God's sakes,
I haven't
Ghostbusters.
seen it yet.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2016 was one of the most thumbs down videos ever, and all because it looked kind of crappy and it was women. Let's be real, if it wasn't Ghostbusters, who the fuck would have cared?
Exactly.
Or if they even would have said it was a sequel.
I think even if they said it was a sequel, I think people would still be pissed.
I don't think people would be as pissed though.
Yeah, but Bill Murray never signed on to that, though, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Bill
never signed on to
Murray
Ghostbusters
said
3.
no, and he was the only reason, or the only person that they're waiting for.
Damn it, Bill
No,
Murray.
they're never
So,
gonna make
that's
it.
why they did women.
They should have just killed him off. Brought
That
him
was
back.
actually an idea. He actually said to them, "Kill me off." in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then we'll talk. So they wrote a script where they killed him off in the first 10 minutes, and then he comes back as a ghost. That would be a great movie.
That
It's
would have
just
been
like
freaking awesome.
he becomes a ghost, and like the Ghostbusters have to determine: do we have to actually use our ghost packs and store him away? He is our friend, but he is a ghost. But he is Bill Murray.
Well, I feel like you got 2 against 1 there in favor of killing his ass. Because I'm sorry. Bill Murray's a douchebag.
Believe it or not, he's not. Why is
a-
he a douchebag? I want to
He's
know
a
why.
funny douchebag.
Okay.
though.
I'm saying this in terms of just every single movie I see, he feels just bored. Like he's too good to be there. Like he does
Okay,
not
what
give.
movie?
That's the
Ghostbusters!
That's the character that he plays.
That's actually the character of Ghostbusters.
I always just
no,
saw
if
it.
you notice, he plays that character in pretty much every single movie.
Yeah.
Like every single movie.
But I feel like that's not even really a character. Like to me, it just feels like him being too stuck up.
Well, he only made Ghostbusters so he could make another movie. Yeah, he wanted to. I forgot what movie it was. He wanted to make a drama, and the studio was like, "No, you can't make that." And then when Belushi died, because he was the original choice to play Peter Venkman, they were trying to woo Bill Murray into playing the role, and Bill Murray's like, "No, no, no! Like, if you do this, we'll make your movie."
Did they?
And they did.
What
And
was
bombed.
it? What was it? We'll figure this out later.
Yeah, I can't think of the movie at the top of my head, but
So here's something I gotta ask. Movies that are like really critically acclaimed, like classic movies. What makes a movie a classic? Like, why do people praise Citizen Kane? Why do people praise Ghostbusters? And like, think about it. If these movies were made today, well, I can kind of understand why Citizen Kane. It was a revolutionary movie, in terms of cinematography and just general, filmmaking talent. So excuse me for that one.
That's a product of its time.
Yes.
You couldn't make a movie like Citizen Kane now.
Yeah. Or Ghostbusters.
Well, they were all originals back then.
That is true. But
Original
Well,
ideas, original
Ghostbusters-
concept, original.
Well, Ghostbusters original. I really think Dan Aykroyd was really high and was watching the Ghostbusters cartoon or Ghostbusters TV show because there was a TV show of the same name. It It was about two guys fighting ghosts with a monkey.
I remember that.
So they actually have to use the name. They actually have to talk to them. And if you watch, the reason why it's called the Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon, is because they couldn't actually, because the people who made the original Ghostbusters decided to make a cartoon at the same time.
Ew.
Shit.
And since the original cartoon,
The more you know.
the original show owned the rights to the name, the studio had to put the Real Ghostbusters
Shit.
so people would know the difference.
Well, see, that goes with pretty much any movie, though. You know, you have your originals from back then, like pretty much every single original idea, original concept. They were all better, and that's, you know, Hollywood's starting to run out of ideas because they're not bringing in independent, I guess you could say independent directors, independent writers, independent everything, and that's why Netflix is hitting so fucking big. Is because that's exactly what they're doing. But Hollywood is struggling for new ideas. Struggling. That's why you see the new Star Wars. They're all fucking remakes. Nothing but. Freaking Force Awakens was A New Hope. Last Jedi was Empire Strikes Back. No ideas, no original concept. You got everything. Like they're just digging to bring up old series. Fox is doing it on the on TV. They're doing. They're planning on talking about bringing back Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Firefly. Which, to be honest with you, I don't think Joss Whedon is going to be up for it. But they're talking about it.
Right.
And they brought back the X-Files. They brought back, you know, a whole shit ton of them. They're struggling for ideas. But they were all good.
Right.
Here's my question, because we're talking about originalities and things like that. Original Ben-Hur with Charleston Heston. That was a remake. There was a silent version.
Huh? See?
Ten Commandments. There was a silent version of that.
Yeah.
Why is the Charleston Heston version a classic, but not the silent version or the Morgan Freeman version?
Remakes can work. Reboots can work.
It's very...
I feel like they work better if you take ideas that didn't hit as well the first time and you just said to yourself, you know, I feel like this needs to be tweaked just a little bit, or this needs a big overhaul, and boom, it's suddenly something amazing. And something suddenly worth noting.
My thing with reboots or remakes is if you're gonna reboot or remake any movie, there has to be at least a reason for it to happen. So there is a technology change.
I suppose just cash grab.
Yeah.
Rather than cash grab. Planet of the Apes. Great example right there. Okay, you got the original with Charleston Heston. Wow, I'm talking all about Charleston Heston
You
today.
seem to really like Charleston Heston.
Yeah. Fantastic movie. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Another fantastic movie. Why is that? Because the times have changed. You're now incorporating our modern times to this new movie. To an old idea.
I can feel that. I can buy that.
Yeah, and it hits with younger audiences and, you know, hits with the times.
Because
Completely see it, but
most of the time, a lot of these, like a lot of the bigger hardcore fans of these other franchises, again going back to Ghostbusters, what were they when they first saw it? They were kids. Back to the Future, they were kids.
yeah.
You grow up with this stuff, and then you unfortunately get the problem with the nostalgia, which I think nostalgia is such it's such a destroyed concept nowadays. Such an absolutely destroyed concept, because I feel like it has had all of its true meaning and value sucked away from it, because everybody is trying so hard to forcibly recreate it at any second they can get, or they're trying so forcibly hard to just pound it into your throat. And that is a big reason why I think that a lot of these reboots aren't working, is because people are getting sick and tired of nostalgia. At least subconsciously, people are getting sick of it.
Well, it doesn't help that the movie itself sucks.
That's true.
Transformers
And
sucks.
it doesn't help that probably about 95% of these movies now are nothing but CGI.
Yeah, it's not so
nothing
bad.
but.
I mean, it's technology. Can you really bash it that much?
You gotta have some sort of practical effects.
That's true. That's true. But at the same
to be
time,
honest with you, I rather like The Walking Dead, how they do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather see it man-made, and I'd rather see talent than. Don't get me wrong, CGI is talent.
Oh,
and the Last Jedi, that was the only good thing about that movie was it was fucking beautiful.
I'm gonna add one on to that. Guardians 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 sucked, but I thought some of the character interactions were good.
Great.
Yeah, some of the character interactions were good, and then the CGI was balls to the walls. Those are the only two things I really liked about that movie. Other than that, I thought it was awful. Which, but yeah, I gotta say, I think that is a big reason. I think rose-colored glasses are greatly affecting our perception of how we want to critique things nowadays. We're not looking at objectively as this movie. Like Flatliners. Everybody said that movie sucked. A lot of people said like, "Oh, the original was so much better." For one, haven't you actually seen the original? Who the fuck saw the original Flatliners? Who the fuck's heard of the original Flatliners?
Nobody.
Exactly. But everyone's just like, "Oh, it's a remake." Same thing with Death Wish. Honestly, I liked Flatliners. I don't care what anybody says. There was nothing inherently wrong with that movie. I can sit here like, yeah, there was some stupid stuff that I could critique it on, but inherently, there's nothing that bad about it. And when you get down to it, I feel like a lot of quote unquote, how should I say, publicly bad movies, like, you know, a lot of people the general audience saying this movie is bad is because one group of people says it's bad, and then more people jump on that bandwagon. It's just like fucking Let's Plays on YouTube. One person did it, more people did it, 10 more people did it, bandwagon was created, everyone's jumping aboard. And because you hear, oh, this movie sucked, you see it, and then you have this massive, this pure perception walking in, just thinking, this movie's gonna suck, so therefore I shall critique it as shit.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off.
My thing is, when I go to a movie, I don't give a crap what reviews say, per se. I always ask myself, is this going to be worth the $10 that I spent?
That I feel like is a good reason to listen to critics and reviews, is to find out, just generally, is this going to be worth it? Yes or no?
Elephants came walking by again.
But granted, my perception of films have changed with my brand new movie pass.
Yay! Because once you know the movie pass came around, which I still feel like is a godsend, you are going to be a lot less picky about movies. And I feel like if everybody got one, as much as I feel like that company is going to go under, and I'm very disheartened by that because I love Movie Pass so dearly.
It's not going to go under. What's going to happen? They're just going to raise the price. And it's going to piss everyone off.
I'm going to be fine with that. I'm going to be honest to God fine with that.
Same here.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, like, for as much as you and I see movies, it's still worth it. It's still totally worth it. But it allows us to take away that idea of, like, fuck, I spent $10 on this? Because, like, when I went to see movies like Maleficent and Lucy, which I fucking hate those movies, I objectively just hate Lucy with a burning passion. I think that movie is just flat out insulting my intelligence every which way. I hate that movie. Despise that movie. Fuck that movie. I'm going to get a whole rant about this, I swear to God, so I'm going to shut up. He's seen me do it!
Hey, it's no different than Transformers.
Goddamn Transformers. That and Maleficent. Because I remember at the end of it, I remember how much I hated it. And then I also remember sitting there halfway through thinking, and I had somebody with me and I paid for them both times. I was just sitting there like, I feel like I can spend $20 on this shit.
You didn't like Maleficent?
Fucking hated Maleficent. I almost walked out in the first 10 minutes. Fucking hated that movie. Because here's my problem with Maleficent.
Okay, next subject. Quick.
No,
My problem with Ghostbusters.
no, we're talking about Maleficent.
No,
And
we're talking
fucking
about Ghostbusters.
No, fuck Disney. Fuck Maleficent. Because here's why. It's trying to be so hard to be wicked. But here's the thing. And I actually heard a very good point about this from Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic, is that in the original fucking Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch was a thug. And in Wicked, you've completely changed her character around. There's this actual inherent intrinsic value to why it is you're making the story, because you actually give her more depth as a fucking character. With Maleficent,
You got wings.
you got wings.
And you can fly and talk.
And what else does she do? She goes from this, this well-spoken, maniacal character to this well-spoken, bland bitch. They ruined Maleficent!
Calm down.
Do you know why the Great and Powerful Oz was created?
Do I even want to know? Because I actually didn't mind that movie. I didn't mind Mila Kunis as the Wicked Witch.
But do you know why that movie was made? Because Disney lost the rights to Wicked. And they wanted to beat Universal to the punch. And since The Wizard of Oz was under public domain, they can do whatever the hell they wanted with it.
Nice. Good for them. Good for them.
Fuck you, Disney. You're always trying to beat people.
But hey, we're getting a Wicked movie next year.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm excited. Who's playing it?
I don't know. I'm not that excited.
I like Wicked.
And my reason why, when it comes to musicals, sometimes you can do it. Like, I think with musicals like Cats or Phantom of the Opera, as long as you get a good singer, which they didn't for Phantom of the Opera, but anything could work. Wicked, it's known for its cast. It's known for Kristen Chenoweth and
Wicked's with the that one chick from Rent,
Yeah,
right?
Mazel, isn't it?
Mazel. I can't remember. I'm gonna butcher it like John Travolta butchered it at the Oscars.
I think it's
Is it the one with that chick from Rent though?
I think so.
The one chick that does
She's the voice of Frozen.
Elsa.
Yeah, okay, that is her. Yep.
And Kristen Chenoweth, and it's just like, you gotta replace those people because at the end of the day, they're kind of old.
At the end of the day, another day older.
And these are college kids.
Yeah.
It's the story of them in college. I mean, granted, you could totally have the original Wicked Witch in there because she's just a green woman.
She's supposed to be a hag.
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit offended you didn't appreciate my absolutely perfectly placed Les Mis reference. It's a musical. The line worked. Everything worked, Todd. Damn you.
And there's still a problem with that movie.
I don't care what anybody says. Okay. So, Les Mis is kind of an interesting, at least the 2012 Tom Hooper version. It's kind of an interesting little basket of oddities, so to speak. And I can totally understand a lot of the criticisms that go behind it. But honest to God, it is my favorite movie. And here is why. So, most people know me as the kind of guy, a lot of people know me as a critic, as being a movie critic. I'll sit there and bash on movies all fucking day. And having worked in the industry, people know me to look very... People know me to look very very closely at the technical aspects of making a movie. Okay. People know me to talk about things like the cinematography, the editing, to less degree the music, sound editing, stuff like this. I've done this. I have an eye for it to some degree. Not going to say like, oh, I have the perfect eye. I know it looks good. No, I know what I like. And I understand Les Mis is a very full-out film, especially technically. So, technically, I should not like this movie. But here is why I like it. I like it because it has this message of. By the way, this is actually my introduction to Les Mis, which so I wouldn't necessarily say like this movie is. If I hadn't seen the movie first, I feel like it wouldn't have been my favorite, but I still think I would have loved the story of Les Mis. I love it because it's this story of a man seeking ultimate redemption, and it's a man who, through thick and thin, chooses kindness and chooses, humanity overall.
I didn't even eat food today. I don't know why it's going on.
Wait, what?
I haven't eaten food today.
He's talking about the bullfrog segment running by.
I didn't notice.
Because you're so entranced to talk about Les Mis
but
and Russell Crowe.
fuck Russell Crowe.
It did have a good story.
Yeah.
And it did have really good actors.
It really did. It
But-
had great songs, and I feel like
Yeah.
the reason why I like it is because the inherent is the core value of the story itself, and because I feel like it has messages that aren't just good to chew on. I feel like they're ones you can incorporate into your everyday life. Be a generally good person, but don't be a dick about it. Don't say like, I'm such a good person, look at me, or I deserve this because I'm a good person. No, then you're just a whiny little bastard.
Did you have a favorite musical while we're on the subject?
I just want to ask Justin, do you hear the people sing?
Do you hear the people singing
I-
the song of angry men? Namely me.
This is a hard one to ask. But what's yours? I have to think about it.
Favorite musical or favorite movie?
Favorite musical.
I have to go in between a few, I guess. I mean, you got Rent. Absolutely 100% beautifully portrayed as a movie. Never got the pleasure to see it on Broadway, but it was an awesome movie. I loved it. Loved the way they portrayed it. Loved how in depth the characters were. The actors were,
Old?
a little bit, but
But it's the original cast, so, I mean...
yeah, it was well portrayed. And then Phantom of the Opera.
Which version?
You're dead to me.
No, hold on. Which version?
Are you honestly asking what version?
Yes.
This is a trap. I'm backing out.
No, motherfucker, you're in.
You're in. Tell us.
Hey, I love the Phantom of the Opera original Broadway.
Okay.
Not.
Okay.
I thought he was about to say Joel Schumacher.
I would have walked out of here. I'd be like, I'm done.
Fuck this guy. No.
Fuck this guy. He's never on this show again. Yeah. You know what he did.
We're kicking out of your own home.
As much of a movie person I am, I really don't like musicals too much on movies because they're really not portrayed that well.
Right.
And I love seeing musicals with, actual orchestras, theater, lighting, setting, the mood, everything. Like the moment that you can walk into a theater and you hear those freaking instruments queue up and all the way from freaking curtain rise to curtain down. It's just spectacular. And I never had the pleasure yet of going to see what were you talking about? Oz or
Wicked.
Wicked.
It's coming
I
back.
keep calling it Oz. But I was in Cincinnati, Ohio one year with my kids and significant other, and it was right the fuck across the street. I was like, damn it.
It's coming back to town, so I think you're definitely gonna love it. I had front row seats one time to see.
Oh,
Wicked
beautiful.
Front row seats.
I was gonna say, cause Todd and I actually went to see Les Mis just a couple weeks ago
Really?
on Broadway.
Nice.
It's actually really good.
Well, not on Broadway in Detroit.
Hey,
Why did I say
there's
Broadway?
there's a Broadway in Detroit.
Are we allowed to go on that street?
No, it's dangerous.
Is it really?
No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
There is there's like a cafe or something that's called Broadway or Cafe on Broadway or something, but the Detroit Orchestra House is really nice. The freaking orchestra house for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra is really nice too. Both of them are just beautiful, and I've been to both of them too many times to count.
Very nice. I mean, that's my question is, why are musicals typically so critically lambasted in most occasions? You know, a couple of exceptions being, my immediate thought goes to La La Land. What?
Haven't seen it yet,
It's
but
so good. It was actually my favorite movie
That's
of
what I heard.
2016.
oh my god, I saw a video on the freaking the jazz scene where Ryan, whatever that
Ryan
his
Gosling. Ryan
nuts
Gosling.
was playing the piano and the girl was dancing and
Oh, I love
and the
that
camera
shot.
switch that goes right back and forth. I saw the behind the scenes how the guy just tapped him on the shoulder, tapped him on the shoulder, tapped him on the shoulder. It's like, oh my god, it's so cool.
That's a movie, like, I feel like a big reason why that one wasn't critically lambasted, you could say, like, okay, because it was so technically precise.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that movie was so tightly edited, was so tightly choreographed. The cinematography was orgasmic.
Yeah.
I love the coloring in that movie. I love the shots in that movie. And, you know, it's such a simple story. But they made it look like fucking heaven just came to earth.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Like, that was like the movie that made me think, like, fuck directing. I want to go be a fucking DP. I want to be this guy. I want to be, what's his name? I think it was Justin Hurwitz. I think it was the DP.
Don't know.
I'm trying to remember his name. I know his last name was Hurwitz. I think it was Justin.
I never seen it.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. Fuck you and fuck you. Go see La La Land!
High five.
Yeah! No La La Land!
We're rejecting to see that fucking movie.
And then you see it's like, why the
Piece
fuck
of
did we
shit.
miss this?
I wanted to see it, and my girlfriend at the time didn't want to see it.
Yeah, that's the
And-
thing, man. If you're into musicals, you gotta find a chick that's into musicals too, because if not, you're fucked. They're
Yeah.
just gonna sit there. Fucking pussy. You wanna go see La La Land? La La Land your ass out there with your faggot ass friends and go see that fucking faggot movie.
But why is it usually so critical lambast? Why are they such like the black sheep of the movie world?
Well, first off, I'm going to say this. I don't think La La Land is not the black sheep.
No, it's not.
That one just came out of nowhere and blew everyone's fucking mind
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Okay. But most musicals is they try to pander to a whole audience. Phantom of the Opera is my prime example. There's no effing reason why Gerard Butler should have been the fucking Phantom of the Opera.
I thought you start with effing and then end with fucking.
Okay. Mamma Mia! There's no fucking reason Pierce Brosnan needs to be in Mamma Mia!
Mamma mia, here I go again. That's coming up.
You know, it's just... Why are these people who clearly can't sing?
Or dance.
Hey, a lot of that is the director's fault. A lot of that
Oh,
is
yeah.
the choreographer's
Yeah.
fault.
I do blame Joel Schumacher for Gerard Butler. But I really think that, you know, I generally believe the studios are coming in there and be like, you're hiring that guy because that guy brings in names.
Yeah.
Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan is a name. And how are we going to get older women to come in there? We find a older, hot man.
George Clooney.
I think he would have been better than Pierce
Double O.
Brosnan.
Wanna know what's
Or
funny?
the 007.
What was his name? Gerard Butler was at the bottom of the list for these people.
Oh,
Fucking Meatloaf was above him. For some reason, Hugh Jackman and Anne Hathaway were on that list together. Guess that worked.
I would
Yeah.
love to see Meatloaf's Phantom of the Opera. Like, he looks like a monster already.
You talking about Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
No.
And the guy can sing. Like, my favorite album is Bad Out of Hell, Volume 2.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Gotcha now.
But I mean, if you look at him now,
No.
he has not aged well.
You know who would have been a great pick for Phantom of the Opera?
Ozzy Osbourne.
No. Nick Cage.
Well, yeah, you put Nick Cage in anything. He's perfect for any role.
Because he just loses his goddamn mind on set every time.
I think
I want Tommy Wiseau.
Darth Vader.
So, there's...
James Earl Jones.
Or what the hell is his name? The guy who played the actual Vader?
I can't remember his name.
James Earl Jones.
No.
Oh, the actual suit actor?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't he, like, apparently not even in the credits?
No,
In the original credits?
I think.
No, he got fucked over.
Uh,
I think he was in the credits, but he got fucked over.
That's right, he was originally supposed to be the voice, and then they gave it to James Earl Jones, wasn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
they said his voice didn't cut it.
They made a wise decision.
Mm-hmm.
He went down in Star Wars history.
Well, they should have changed the voice to Mickey Mouse. Look, I am your father! Ah!
Why don't you let me pull out my lightsaber? Ha ha ha! Hey guys, you want to see my lightsaber? Ha!
You want to see the power of the dark side? Oh, it's called Disney.
Ah, my lightsaber's red. Should that be red?
I just stirred my Red Wings. Ha!
Then you know who plays Luke. Fucking Goofy. Coach, that's impossible.
Donald Duck is Chewie. No, he's Han. He's Han. Pluto's Chewie. Donald Duck is Han. Obviously, Minnie Mouse is going to be Princess Leia.
So wait, does that mean... Wait, who did you say is Han?
Donald Duck.
So Donald Duck and Minnie Mouse are gonna fuck?
Yes.
I knew it! I knew they were cheating on each other.
Well, yeah, they've been together for like 90 years and they haven't banged. They're not even married.
That's a good one. You know, they're doing all these fucking big like comic book marriages over the next couple years. Batman and Selena Kyle, fucking Colossus and Kitty Pryde.
Well, they wanted to do it. Disney wanted to do it a while ago, and they were going to make this big promotional thing at all the kingdoms. Like they were going to get married at Disney World. Like he was going to propose at Disneyland, get married at Disney World, and their honeymoon would be in Tokyo. And it just didn't go through.
I just thought of a good.
Michael Eisner is an idiot.
He is. I just had an idea, kind of going back on topic here. Have you ever noticed how a lot of the time people will kind of, let things go in terms of they'll go easier with critiques just by saying, "Oh, it's a kids movie. It's a Disney movie."
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Thank you.
I hate when people do that.
Fuck that. That's what happened with A Wrinkle in Time. It's like I can understand, or Fernandad. It's like okay, I can understand if a movie is harmless, but don't just say because it's for kids.
Okay. The only... Curious George.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic movie. I'm clearly not the target audience for Curious George.
Yeah.
That movie is for kids. Alright? But I still think it's a good movie. Hotel Transylvania is still shit. It doesn't matter if it's animated or not. It's still shit.
You didn't like Hotel Transylvania?
I liked it,
I thought it was okay.
It was okay, but I mean...
but Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
look,
it's Adam Sandler, and I mean... I feel like there's better talent behind that movie. You have Tarkovsky, the guy behind Samurai Jack, directing this movie.
Yeah.
This should be a better movie.
That's another point I have to bring up. So with things like Samurai Jack, does anyone really remember being the bee's knees like it was? Like, because my whole thing was,
I never thought it. I never realized it either.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so
But all of a sudden now it's.
yeah, now it's bigger. You kind of take a second look back at it, and you're like, this is a lot better than I originally thought, because no one really paid attention to it. And then everyone thought, like, well, why did it get canceled? No one fucking paid attention to it. No one was fucking talking about Samurai Jack back then. No one gave a shit.
It was all about Dexter's Laboratory,
Yeah.
boy.
It was a hit on Cartoon Network.
Right.
Yeah.
It was on hiatus because he wanted to do other things, or he was stuck doing other things. He couldn't finish the show.
Right.
I think if he could have finished the show, it would be absolutely amazing. I don't think the ending that we got was the original intent.
I don't think so either, but I liked it.
Oh yeah, I still like it because I mean you lost Mako.
Yeah.
Is it Mako?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mako did the original voice of Mako.
Yeah. Okay, when I said Mako, the first thing that popped in my head was Legend of Korra.
Yeah. But realistically, again, did anybody really stop and like really look at that movie so, put that movie on such a pedestal until decades later?
That's how some of them work, though.
Yeah.
And I want to know, it's like, why did these movies just become, why were these movies just kind of like left to obscurity? But the second something happens, or the second they're canceled, I think everyone's all of a sudden like, holy shit, this was actually really good.
The perfect prime example is Firefly.
Yeah.
It's all about advertisement.
But it also comes down to the point that the people who actually promote it and people who actually air it get fucked in the long run.
Yeah.
That's why Fox is so desperate for bringing back Joss Whedon's fucking shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly. You know, he's practically, they're on their knees begging for him to come back, willing to suck his dick as much as he wants to just come back. Make us money. Make us money.
Your cum tastes like dollars. Tastes like pennies.
I want Buffy to come back.
Oh,
Never
Never saw
Firefly. I never
Buffy.
saw Firefly, so I can't really say anything.
oh my god.
But I only want
Firefly
Buffy
is
to come
amazing.
back as like a short mini series. You have beginning, middle, and end, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'd rather have Josh Whedon create something new.
Yes.
Exactly.
I still want to see his version of Wonder
Past
Woman.
is the past.
Of what?
Wonder Woman.
Because I know he was supposed to direct it back in 2006,
Mhm.
around with Batman Begins.
God, I'm a slob today. I'm farting. I have water all over me.
I mean, there's a big thing is like, a big part of public perception can come down to the advertisement and the general execution. Like, something can be just okay, but if you really get like some good advertising behind it, no one's gonna give two shits. Everyone's gonna think it's amazing because, what did I say earlier? Bandwagon.
Tangled is a prime example.
Yes.
Watch the trailer for Tangled. They rip off DreamWorks and how they promote their movies.
Shrek.
Yeah. Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, all those movies.
Oh no, I was actually just saying Shrek is in that vein of movies.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay, but the fucking bandwagon of it just make it blow up.
Yeah. But if you watch the trailer of Tangled, they completely rip off all the promotional material from DreamWorks. It is a completely different movie than what the trailer promotes.
Yeah.
Because they want to get people in their seats.
But there's nothing wrong with
Last Jedi.
right. Which there's nothing
Well,
wrong
to be
with
honest
the
and to be fair, I didn't really care even before.
Suicide Squad. Perfect fucking example. Everyone wanted the Joker. They didn't get the Joker. They're like, I don't like this. Honestly, that movie had some serious flaws. But it's honest to God a guilty pleasure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understood, the person that played the Joker in
Jared
that
Leto.
was the guy who played Penguin in Gotham.
No.
No, the guy who played
No?
Joker was Jared Leto,
Jared Leto.
who is from 30 Seconds to Mars, the band.
30 Seconds to Mars, okay.
He was in Mr. Nobody. as Nemo Nobody.
I heard that he was the
nobody.
Penguin in Gotham as well, though.
No.
He was
Who plays that then? Because he's some sort of band person too.
Yeah, he's 30 Seconds to Mars.
I mean the guy who plays the Penguin in Gotham.
Oh, okay. No, I know what you're talking about. He was really good in what do you call it? Blade Runner 2049, the new one.
He was in that?
He's the villain. He barely showed up. I swear to God, he was barely necessary, but I thought he was somehow welcome. I really didn't get in that movie. Like, it was a 3-hour long movie. I didn't get into it for like the first hour. After that, fucking 2.5 extra hours go by. I'm like, I want more. Why is this ending? I don't think I've ever sat there through a 2.5, almost 3-hour long movie and thought, I want more. Don't let it end.
All good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
This is true.
Which is hilarious. I mean, the first hour isn't great, but after that, fucking Jesus Christ. So another huge thing about modern day criticisms that, a lot of people like to point fingers at.
I love the fact you're trying to get us back into this topic.
I know.
Continue.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up, Todd. I feel like a big
I
thing
still
that-
want to talk about My Little Pony.
Okay, let's talk about My Little Pony for a
I
minute.
have nothing on My Little Pony.
No, we're going to talk about My Little Pony. Because you know what else we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, let's talk about Rotten Tomatoes.
Because here's my thing with Rotten Tomatoes. I think Rotten Tomatoes is fine. It's the way... I feel like people don't understand what the point of it is. Everybody thinks like, okay, if this movie... if this movie does like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, yada yada, it's a bad movie. No, you gotta think about it this way. That's just saying that 20 people out of 100 liked the movie. Some people could, like, the other 80 people could be sitting there. They could have been on the fence about it and just been like, nah, I didn't particularly like it. But then everybody just says like, oh, it got 20%. It's abysmal. It's awful. No, it just means that 20 people out of 100 genuinely enjoyed it. And that's still not that many people. How many people actually go onto Rotten Tomatoes and say, I like this movie. I don't like this movie. So it's not necessarily, how good is the movie. It's how many people generally liked it. But everybody treats it like the opposite.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing is people have shitstorms over Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
DC is my prime example.
It was a Suicide Squad or was it Batman vs Superman?
I think all of them. Like, everyone had a shit fit on both scores.
No, like there's one of them where people were. It was like some big story. People were like, calling for the downfall of Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it was Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was.
Like, they set it on fire with Batman versus Superman, but Suicide Squad made the explosion.
Isn't the #1 movie in Rotten Tomatoes still the green? What is it? The green tomato? It's like
No, I think it goes. I think it goes.
Tomato.
I think it goes Splat, popcorn. No, Splat, red tomato, fresh.
Yeah.
Tomato.
no, I mean the actual #1 movie on their list. It's like a movie called The Green Tomato, or is it The Green Mile, or something? I'm not exactly
The Green
sure
Mile.
what it is.
Granted, that is a good movie. But
Yes.
talking about the whole thing, and everyone's having a shitstorm about
Purple.
no one understands, that DC made a good movie, and I'm like, and Disney's, paying the critics to say bad things.
Or was it just a shit movie?
Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Guess what? If the movie's shit, it's probably shit.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think it's owned by Warner Brothers, Fox, and I believe Universal.
So basically, it's owned by
Oh.
Universal, Warner Brothers, and Disney.
Now Disney.
I feel like it's gonna get like that close, and it's gonna fall through. I seriously feel like that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna get like that close, but the Fox and Disney deal is gonna fall through.
I mean, even if it falls through, Disney is gonna make some purchases from their library.
Yeah.
Like, I I would be very shocked and surprised if X-Men and the Fantastic Four doesn't go back. I'd be surprised if they didn't buy Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they didn't buy Avatar. You know, the stuff that they need. Because, you know, yes, they're buying it for the complete library for their streaming service, but there are small things within that library they need. Avatar, because you have the theme park. Star Wars, because they own Star Wars.
Because
Marvel and X-Men.
they don't own A New Hope. It's the only one they don't own.
Yeah.
Is the original movie.
Really?
Yeah, they don't own it. It's owned by Fox.
How?
Licensing shenanigans.
Yeah, it's licensing things. Like, the movie is owned by Fox.
So basically, George Lucas ended up going to Fox for the income?
From what I understand, George Lucas, according to the contract, he owns all properties of Star Wars minus the first movie. So he owns the toy rights. He owns anything that goes beyond episode 2 or episode 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3. Because no one knew what Star Wars was going to be like. No one knew that. Everyone thought Star Wars was going to be a shit film.
Yeah.
Okay. Funny story, you know, George Lucas was at the Close Encounters of the Third Kind set, hanging out with Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg goes up to George Lucas and goes, "What's wrong?" It's like, I don't know if the Star Wars movie's going to make it. And he goes, "You know what? Let's make a little deal. I'll take 10% of Star Wars, and you can take 10% of Close Encounters." Made George Lucas really happy.
Yeah.
Guess who's still making money off of Star Wars? Steven Spielberg. But I think that's what it is. I think it's just that contract was that Fox would own the movie, and since Fox thought it was going to be a shit film, they just gave everything else to George Lucas.
Surprised they didn't take it a step forward and say that they own the rights, the characters, everything.
So I was just talking about movies like Suicide Squad, again, like Flatliners. Those movies that bombed on Rotten Tomatoes, but in reality, you know, were they really that bad? Going on the flip side of that coin, Get Out was promoted as having 100% of Rotten Tomatoes. Here's my thing. So people keep looking at that movie like, oh my god, it's 100% Rotten Tomatoes. It must be amazing. It must be the goddamn best movie ever. Because it must be a perfect 10 movie. Oh god, Roddy. Fuck you, little British bastard. Timmy, go home. Drunk.
Zip, cheerio, man. Okay.
There's more than liquor in that tea.
More?
I'm really sad now that in Gotham by Gaslight, he didn't just go up to somebody and say, "I'm Batman, governor." They shoulda. I'm sad. So, here's my thing with Get Out. It's not a bad movie. You know, people can sit there and say, like, oh, you know, it was so critically appraised for, you know, because people didn't want to, you know, give it a bad review. I partly agree with that. I think the main problem with this is it is a good movie. Everybody liked it. But, you know, you can have, like, a bunch of people, like, you can have every one of those 100 people.
I'm sorry, man, but your opinions stink.
You know, you can say every one of those 100 people, each one of them could have said, like, yeah, it was a good movie. It wasn't great, but it was good. And that could still end up as 100% Rotten Tomatoes, because in Rotten Tomatoes, it's did you like it or did you not like it? That's how it works.
Two things. One, if you didn't like it,
Oh, I liked it.
Why is
Okay.
it 100%?
okay,
No, I liked the movie.
and you're white and you didn't like it, you're racist. Okay? Two, this is the main reason why it's at 100%. No one expected Jordan Peele to create that movie like that.
I did.
You're the minority
I
and a
saw-
racist.
I saw every... Isn't that a bit of an oxymoron? Well, for one, I did actually like that movie.
Yeah.
But from the trailer, except for maybe a couple of small moments, I saw that movie fucking beat for beat.
Same here. However, I would have loved it if he would have gone with the original ending.
I know.
I would have loved that movie.
Honest to God, I wasn't expecting the theatric ending. I didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it either, but I think the original ending, I would have loved it more.
What do you guys say about this damn Venom trailer? It looks pretty shitty to me, if you ask.
This is
If
my
you ask
opinion
me.
when it comes to Marvel movies not done by Marvel. They're shit, and I don't give two shits.
And no one should give three shits about it either.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's just like, if no one goes see these movies, Sony and Fox will stop making them.
Yeah.
And they will give them back to Disney.
But here's the thing. It's slowly starting to happen with Sony.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not as easily, but it's slowly starting to happen with Fox too. Because, you know, the X-Men franchise is okay. The Spider-Man's franchise, Sony, just stop trying. Sony.
Spider-Man used to be so good until they got their hands into the third one.
Yeah.
Into Sam Raimi's third one.
I like the third one.
Once they pushed it to where you have to do Venom or
Yeah.
we're gonna do it without you.
Well, here's the thing.
So either fucking go or we're gonna do it.
Honestly, I thought that Sandman was one of my favorite Marvel villains. In terms of Marvel movies, I thought he was one of my favorite Marvel villains. I still, really love characters like Hela. I know she can be a bit one-dimensional, but I still really love her. Loki, of course. Vulture. Killmonger is really good. Sandman he's up there for me. I still love Dr. Octopus. But
Yeah,
I'd say it's like
Dr.
Dr. Octopus.
Awesome.
There's Sandman. Right below him.
I still want my Aunt May movie.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, Teenage Mutant Aunt May.
Aunt May, a while ago when Sony didn't know what the fuck they were doing, which I still don't think they know what the fuck they're doing. They were coming up with ideas for different movies.
Dude, I would have went and saw Aunt May.
And
I
they
would
wanted
too.
to make, and they were going to do a Sinister Six movie, a Black Cat movie, and then for some reason they wanted to make an Aunt May movie, and it was a prequel to Spider-Man where she's a spy.
Isn't that his parents, though?
And my thing was, don't do it as a prequel. I want to see an old lady as a spy. Get Helen Mirren in that shit.
Might have not wanted to see that one.
But you're telling me you don't want to see an old lady be a spy?
You
Like,
know
she
what
has to come out of retirement. Like, I know it's kind of ripping off Red, but she comes out of retirement and
You got my husband killed, you son of a bitch, boy. I know your secret. I'm gonna spy on you.
I just want her to, like, whip the bad guys with her purse. And she has arthritis, so, that hurts. And every once in a while, she's like, see a little dementia in there, too.
You know what would have been even better if they had made Red Sparrow with Betty White instead of Jennifer Lawrence?
I would love that movie so much.
That's horrible.
And she would do it.
I know.
Betty White, give us a call. We're going to remake a movie starring you. You're going to be a spy.
A sexy spy. Who does?
Sexiest of all sexiest spies.
Who uses sex to get information out of men.
Oh, God. Good night, everybody.
That's
No,
the
you
whole point of
just
Red
sit here.
Sparrow.
It was, but it had Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can make a new dad.
I think it would be better with Betty White. I'm sorry.
But I feel like with Venom, I'm holding off my criticisms until I see it, and the reason for that is fucking Forever My Girl.
I mean,
They
to be
can't
honest,
even
to be
make a
fair,
good
like I try
trailer,
not
though.
to judge any movie
before you see it.
Before you see it, because you don't know. Like, you
Yeah.
prime example, Forever My Girl. Here's a movie that's some stupid romantic comedy, and it was a great character piece.
Yeah, it was a great story about a father, reclaiming it wasn't a romance. It was a story about a father meeting his daughter.
And trying to rekindle that lost relationship.
Right, and trying to like form a family from these fragmented pieces he never knew existed. I think that's a great concept, but it didn't promote itself like this that way. It was just like this country music star. He's gonna go have a romance. My buddy of mine actually wants me to help write and direct one for him. I'm totally down to do it. Ever since I saw Friend of My Girl, I'm just like, you know what? I feel like we could do something with this. I still need to sit down and write. I keep telling him we're gonna use this day. We're gonna go write. Something keeps fucking happening. I feel so bad. Keegan, if you're watching this, you know who you are because I just mentioned you by name. But yeah, with Friend of My Girl, it's a movie that we walked in there. We expected to hate it, and we ended up. I personally ended up really liking it. I didn't think it was great.
I didn't think it was great either. I was more focused on the spot on the fly on the screen.
Watch our Forever My Girl review.
Yeah.
On Movie Roulette. It comes out every week except for the past 2 weeks. We can't find a consistent schedule or something keeps fucking happening. Like Todd loses his glasses.
I found no.
Or your movie pass. And we aren't able to see movies until like 5, 6, 12 o'clock.
No, this week was all because of the fucking video capture shit.
Yeah, that was annoying. But we'll get into that in a different week.
It all works now and I know what to do.
Yes.
Okay. Wait for a Rampage review. If we see Rampage.
Does anybody have anything else?
What was that?
Maze Runner.
Maze Runner!
No.
Maze Runner.
Fucking piece of shit.
Haven't seen it.
So, as we talk about criticism, who should we listen to?
That's a good question. A lot of the bigger critics, take them as you leave them. But I personally say find the people that don't. Most people will say I personally like to listen to the critics who I generally agree with more. But at the same time, it's kind of a loaded statement in that critics do kind of sway opinions. Like you hear a critic's review before you see it, you're more inclined to go with their opinion.
Yeah.
So here's my thing with it. Go with the critics who challenge your perception of movies. Who actually give you more insight to that movie or like post viewing than you could have ever thought of. Like a good example is I actually watched a review of The Gift a couple nights ago. And The Gift is one of my favorite movies. It's written and directed by Joel Edgerton. And I love that movie. And I watched this review, and it added I feel like it made this movie even better for me because it added this whole extra layer of things like kind of a judge on high type of theme to the movie that I never thought of. Like the villain is not only sitting there fucking with the main character, he's trying to basically he's trying to be his judge, his juror, his executioner, and he's trying to throw him basically through the fire. And he's trying to get him to walk out a better man. But he ends up failing. But the wife, played by fucking forget her name, but I really like her, ends up succeeding. And it just gave me this whole new perception of this movie. So I feel like people like Doug Walker is a good one. Not necessarily his comedic reviews. As funny as I think he is, his reviews are hilarious. They're fun to watch.
I have a problem with him.
What is that?
He only really reviews what he wants to review.
That's true.
And I feel like if you're only gonna review what you like, or to me, you're not a critic.
Right.
To me, Doug Walker is a comedian.
Yeah.
He's a comedian first, and I do like his, his little thing. Not his actual reviews, but when he does
His persona.
not even the persona. I'm talking the ones when he doesn't do the review
Yeah.
and he's kind of talking about the industry.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like his little like his not his like the in betweens he does, because he does like bi-weekly actual reviews, but then he'll have on the off weeks, he'll do these little like these little extra segments.
Yeah.
He talks about this or that or this and that. And, I think he has some very good points a lot of the time.
Oh yeah. And I don't want to sit there and be like, don't listen to him or anything like that. You should listen to him.
Right.
But I take his word with a grain of salt.
Which you should do with all critics.
Okay. And the way when I look at criticism,
Don't look at me.
I usually have like 5 or 10 critics that I'll listen to. If all 10 of them are saying this is a good movie, and I usually will go see it. I want to go see it. If those 10 critics say this movie's a piece of shit, it's usually a piece of shit. Have they been wrong? Yes, The Tree of Life. But at the same time, I get why a movie like The Tree of Life is a phenomenal movie, because the life of the critic is very hard. They're seeing multiple movies a week,
As opposed to the average 1 to 2 a month.
Yeah.
Or one every couple months. Isn't that the average 1 every 2 months?
Yeah, I think it's like an average person sees about 10 movies a year.
Yeah.
Okay, critics, they see about 400 a year.
They see hundreds of movies every
200 to 400 a year. Guess what? After seeing every superhero movie constantly, they're gonna get tired of the franchise. They're gonna sit there and nitpick that franchise
because they've seen.
They know the
everything.
beats and beats and beats. Hell, I'm like that. I notice beats when I watch certain movies.
Right.
Okay. Marvel is the prime example. I know the beats of Marvel. All right, and I feel like until Marvel is willing to change their beats, I know exactly how the movie's gonna end.
Yeah.
I like Black Panther. I didn't love it. And the reason why I didn't like it, because I knew the beat. I knew how this was going to end. Because that's what Marvel does. And they need to stop doing that.
I feel like a good reason why I like Thor Ragnarok as much as I did is because it didn't go too off the rails, but I did feel like, it did kind of miss those beats sometimes. I was like, wait, what is that? Wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Caught my attention. Especially the ending. Caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's comedic. I thought that Life of Quark kind of, completely undercut the movie, or undercut the complete ramifications of what were going on. But it still perked my interest.
Mm. But people need to understand that, critics see so much shit.
They're jaded.
So when they get surprised, it's gonna be an interesting movie. So, any final thoughts on criticism?
Well, I honestly think that being the type of person that I am, being the type of, I guess you could say, type of personality that I have, and the type of, I guess you could say, perception that I put everything on life, I usually don't go by what critics say. It doesn't, it doesn't hurt, you look it up on the internet, see what people say about it, blah blah blah. But if something catches my attention, I'm going to see it. I don't give a shit what people say, and I usually don't look it up because I don't want any spoilers. I don't want any, anything. And that goes with pretty much all the movies that I see nowadays. Usually I don't even watch regular TV anymore, so I don't see the regular trailers unless I come across them on YouTube or something, which is barely ever, because I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
I try very hard to not watch trailers or read reviews. I like going in blind.
Yeah.
I used to like listen to critics. Like I used to listen to Roger Ebert, and Robert Ebert, got me into a lot of independent stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really good for that.
That was Chris Stockman for me.
Yeah. And then, he kind of like, when he had his cancer, I didn't really like the new reviewer guys. So I didn't really pay attention to these guys anymore. So I would just randomly go into movies blind. And now I definitely do it with the Movie Pass. Get a Movie Pass.
Get a fucking Movie Pass. Support these fuckers.
Chris and I will go to the movies and we'll play a movie roulette. Whatever movie's showing next, doesn't matter if it's a kids movie, doesn't matter if it's a horror movie, freaking anything. We'll do it. What's playing next?
You need to come do
what
Movie
time?
Roulette with us some week.
Yeah, you gotta
Both
join
of
us
you.
for Movie Roulette.
Both of you. Let's get a babysitter and then
Freaking
just be
love
like,
it.
come
The
on.
last time that I played movie roulette was Hateful Eight when it was out in theaters, and I had no fucking idea that Quentin Tarantino made a movie, another one. So like when it popped up on the screen, when Samuel L. Jackson's name popped up on the screen, I was like, is this a Quentin Tarantino movie? Sure as shit. Oh yeah! Jackpot, bitches!
Ultimate surprise.
I got so excited. I was like, Hercules! It's fucking awesome.
I just had a thought. Where as much as I say, like, yes, sometimes you should always take every critic's opinion with a grain of salt. And yes, everybody has their own opinions. Everyone's opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one type deal. But I feel like the ultimate critic is at the end of the day.
It's yourself.
Of course, but here is why. And I feel like it's cheesy, but it does fit. The ultimate critic is yourself because only you can decide what you like. Don't let anybody else tell you what you like. Don't let anybody else sway you from liking what you like, or from not liking what you like, or
And
from
like
liking
Justin said, don't jump on the fucking bandwagon.
I fucking hate bandwagons.
Unless you're the person who likes the Cat in a Hat, we are going to change your mind. We are going to change your mind.
I'll admit it's purely for nostalgic reasons.
You're dead to me.
So
I love Michael Meyer
I
and
do
anything
too.
he's in.
I just think
Except
it's,
for the Cat in the
I
Hat.
think it's a bad movie, but I think it's stupid and funny. So
I miss that son of a bitch.
is he dead?
Well, you should have gone and seen the
No,
Love
he-
Guru.
He hasn't been in anything lately.
Oh.
Yeah, he did the Love Guru, and people are like,
Yeah,
you had two elephants
that was
fucking,
kinda weird.
and it didn't make any money, so you're poisoned now. Bye.
Well, here's my thing. Here's what I was gonna say next. Is that love the shitty movies. I can sit here and say this movie's shit. You can say this movie is great. Again, taking into consideration of my own roommate, him and I differ a lot of opinions on movies. Like he thinks a lot of what are generally considered to be shitty movies are pretty good. Like he likes Episode 2 of Star Wars. But here's the thing. He likes it. Who the fuck cares? He likes it. He made him happy. Fuck it. Make him happy.
I loved Episode 1, aside from the fact that little Anakin Skywalker and Jar
Existed.
Jar Binks. Other than that movie was fucking
I
gold.
love one.
That movie was fucking
I didn't mind that
awesome.
one, but just generally movies that people typically will say like this movie's shit. I respect him quite a bit because he doesn't allow anybody to sway his opinion.
We need to sway his
do.
opinion. We
Yeah.
need to get him on here and talk about have bullet points of why Episode 2 sucks.
Yes.
And just try to change his opinion of the
And it's
movie.
like I've looked right in the eye. I said, "Dude, that movie's shit." He's like, "I don't care. I liked it." It's like more power to you, dude. I
Yeah.
like shit like. And it's like he doesn't even like them. Ironic, like he generally enjoys them. I'm like, okay, dude, good for you. And who am I to sit here and say like your opinion's wrong? You're stupid for liking this movie. And I can't say that about anybody. Anybody. You like a fucking movie, you like that fucking movie. Don't you let anybody fucking tell you not to like that fucking movie, because I bet that movie's fucking great to you. So fuck off anybody who tells you to fucking not
Except
like
for the
that
Cat in the Hat.
movie. Except for the cat. Or Samson. I don't care who anybody says. You like Samson,
Yeah,
you best be in it for the biblical reasons. Like, you're looking to see a great biblical story told, and you best not give two shits about how it looks.
yeah.
But him and I can go
What
back
about
and
the life
forth on
of
it.
Brian, though.
Hey, him and I,
Always look on the bright
him and I can go
side
back on it
of
for
the-
days and days. And you know, I respect him because he's so steadfast on it. And I'm actually kind of excited to bring him on next week because you know, video game movies are for the most part
Shit.
For the most part considered shit.
Yeah.
He loves a lot of them. I'm really excited to talk with him about it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he thinks of Uwe Boll.
Curious about to see what he says about Cat in the Hat, too, huh?
Let's ask him about Cat in the Hat. Remind me.
But before we go, what is our entertainment piece of the week? We're gonna look at you first.
Entertainment piece of the week?
We do this every week, Dan. You should know this at this point.
Hub porn.
Pornhub or Hub Porn?
Hub porn or Pornhub?
Dyslexia.
I heard Hub Porn, so I'm thinking hubcaps, and they're like with
There you
porn.
But yeah, do you have like a
I don't know
book
what it's
or a
called.
movie that you can think of off the top of your head that you really like? You're just like, yeah, I want to fucking recommend this.
Book-wise?
A book, movie,
Book,
comic,
book,
anything.
movie, video game, whatever.
Anything that's
Okay.
entertainment.
Book-wise, Outsiders or The Hatchet. Best fucking books in the world. Movie-wise, the best movie that I've ever fucking seen. Can't ask me that. I've seen too many good movies.
Just pick
So-
one then.
One?
Yep.
The Cat in the Hat.
You're dead to me. I am done with this damn show.
No, you're staying, Todd. 2-1.
Fuck you.
So for once, I actually remembered to bring this. And okay, let me be honest, I didn't remember to bring this because I always forget. And if anybody notices, I've had this bag sit, this little white board bag sitting next to me this whole time. So clearly, it's a comic. So I originally didn't even think about what I was gonna bring this week. I kind of had an idea, and then I forgot, and I was like, "Fuck!" Because I forget every goddamn week, every fucking week except for the first week, which I knew exactly what exactly was I wanted to get. I'm trying to keep a straight face. You guys are ruining it.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I ate, which I didn't eat anything.
Notice how it only happens when you talk.
Yeah, what the hell? It's just, everything that's coming out of my mouth is shit, and it makes so much sense now.
Yep.
So, originally I was gonna bring something else, and then I went to a place called Big Ben's Comics Oasis,
Downtown Allen
It's the
Park.
one in Allen Park, okay.
just because I think it's a good shop. I think it's a really nice shop. People need to go there.
Yeah.
I've only been there like twice. I think it's a really nice shop.
When I worked at, Comic City, that's where I told them to go.
So I went
Maybe
there.
that's why
I was
we're out of
actually
business.
going to recommend that place to you, too.
So I went
It's a really
there
good place.
in search of a couple different books, including Batman number 37. Been trying to hunt that down for the past couple months. I don't know why I can't find it for the life of me. Kind of upset that I can't. I'm gonna find it. Did they really do that well? Please tell me.
What?
Batman 37.
What was 37?
When Batman, when Bruce, Selina, Clark, and Lois go on the double date.
It was great.
I want to read it. I want to read it so bad.
PDF.
I don't even care if I
I know
read it.
it's not the same thing.
I don't
but
care. I just want to read it. It was that like
Look it up online.
36
You'll
is
find
so. The 36 is so good. I'm just like, I need to read this. I don't even care if I own it. I just want to read it. I want to see what happens. This is an amazing story concept. Batman, Catwoman, Superman, and Lois Lane go on a double date. Why is this so amazing to me? So I went there and I found the other thing that I was trying to look for, which I actually didn't expect to find this one as much. But I got really, really into Cassandra Cain's Batgirl lately. Really into it.
Barbara Gordon's better. Continue.
I'm kind of I like all the Batgirls. I love all the Batgirls. You know, as much as I love
Robin's
Barbara Gordon.
the best Batgirl.
Well,
That's
after
true,
reading her,
'cause pussy's kind of cute.
after reading Cassandra Cain, I have to say I have to give it to her as the best Batgirl. I didn't know much about her before. My introduction to her was actually her as Orphan in the current Detective Comics series. So I went to Comics Oasis and I picked this up, and honestly, it was fucking amazing, and it was a great ending to a fantastic run. I gotta give it to Batgirl number 73, where she fights and kills her own mother. And it's a story about this young girl finally facing like her ultimate demon that she never knew she had, her last ultimate trial and tribulation. I feel like that's the perfect way to cap off her story.
Have you ever read the Dark Knight series?
Which one?
I didn't know if there was more than one of them, but there was a Dark Knight series that was very, 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 very dark. And I'm pretty sure that it's the original because I read it as a kid.
So yeah, it's
The-
probably the Frank Miller one then.
Probably.
It's the one where they hang the kid from the bridge in a knapsack. And
That sounds very Frank Millery.
Batman has to save him.
Nerds, tell us the issue.
What's the issue today, kids? Well, a kid got hanged. That's kind of an issue.
So for my pick, I'm gonna go with the YouTube channel, Brows Held High. Rate Critic. He focuses mostly on independent stuff, or he takes, popular things and breaks it down to more historical purposes. He did it with Superman and Ubermensch.
Okay.
One of my favorite was he did the Muppet Show and compare it to the Theater of the Absurd, which is your opinion of the Muppets will now change completely.
Even the Swedish Chef?
Yes, the Swedish Chef. It
Heard
was
a bird,
done by
heard a
two
bird.
people. But he's funny, and he acts like, I don't want to say he acts like a snob, because I think that goes more to the cinema snob, He's the parody of the snob. But I think the Brows Held High guy, I know his first name's Kyle, I can't think of his last name. He doesn't act like a snob. He doesn't talk, but he also at the same time doesn't talk down to you. And I feel like that's a great critic. It's someone that is able to not talk down to you and not act, pretentious.
But still interject their own.
Still interject your own opinion and interject your own opinion towards those artsy films. And he does make fun of, the idea, because Beauty and the Beast. He did a great Beauty and the Beast video with another YouTuber called Some Jerk with the Camera, as I keep farting.
You could have kept talking. You would have got away with that one.
Oh, God, it smells.
Let's wrap this up.
But he talks about Beauty and the Beast. He talks about the original French version, Jacques Cousteau, and the 90s Disney
Isn't
version.
that all about bestiality?
Yeah, it's all about
Okay.
bestiality. And the 90s version, and he pokes fun. He actually parodies each of the songs from the 90s version to get his point across from the original version. And then he talks about the future and how the people from Twilight ruined Beauty and the Beast.
All right. Well, in that case, what was it called again? Brows Held High. Watch Brows Held High.
Read Batman.
No, read Batgirl. Read fucking Batgirl.
No, read Batman.
No.
Batman's the best
The
Batgirl.
Dark Knight.
Just read Batgirl. Read all 73
before-
issues, because that's
hold
what
on.
I'm currently trying to do.
Who writes that Batgirl?
Gabrich.
Okay.
Before you end up queuing this up real quick, you guys, what do you feel about Christopher Nolan?
Very mixed on him.
He's like Quentin Tarantino in my opinion. Whenever he has a film, I'm always excited. I have never been disappointed with a Christopher Nolan movie.
Dunkirk.
I haven't seen Dunkirk. That's the only
And
one
I just didn't really. I think it's because I didn't know what I was getting into when I walked into it.
I mean, Interstellar kind of pissed me off
Yeah.
because he came a fucking bookcase. But at the same time, it's still a beautiful film to look at.
I feel like he's all like Zack Snyder in that he's very visually impressive, but once they start talking, that's when things start to fall apart.
I'm Batman.
Now, see, he definitely could have done a lot better. I'll fight it up and down that Batman. Him playing Batman absolutely sucked, but him playing Bruce Wayne is really, really good.
Yeah.
But Christopher Nolan's pieces, especially when he's mixed with Zack Snyder and Hans
Zimmerman.
Zimmerman. Dude, that Batman or that Superman movie was fucking incredible.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Dead to me.
It was.
Everyone has their own opinion.
I love those guys
There you
together.
Yeah.
But the reason why I brought him up is,
I like Justice League.
you know, you told me to think about my most favorite movie, and it's hands down, it's got to be Inception. Inception was such a beautiful, beautiful, like, just piece of glue.
Yeah.
You know, it hit you everywhere. You know, the visual effects was good. You know, watching behind the scenes and how he made the, you know, especially like the hotel rolling around and how he made all the dreams and everything else. Visually, the cast was 100% perfect. You know, the music was so in depth with the vision, and you know, he's
very visionary.
Nolan's a fucking god.
I
in
love
the
the
film
fact
industry.
he doesn't use CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Rarely uses
perfect.
CGI.
Yeah. And just like I said, that cast, you couldn't have casted any better. And I used to fucking hate Leonardo DiCaprio with a fucking passion. But I tell you what, ever since Martin Scorsese touched his ass, he is gold.
Oh my!
He is
Reached
gold.
right in, just like,
He touched his
to me,
little
it was,
taint and freaking boom, golden child.
It was Catch Me If You Can that changed my mind of Leonardo DiCaprio.
I never
I
had a bad
stopped calling him
perception.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's what
I
I
never
did
had
too.
never had a bad perception of him.
I think what it is, it's your age, and
And he got better at acting.
yeah, but during the '90s, he was the hot throb. You know, everyone wanted to sleep with him, and I had two sisters.
Had. Are they
So
dead?
you
Did you
heard
kill
it
them,
all the
Todd?
time.
Yes. And I have two sisters, and you know they were Google ads over them. So you know, of course I'm a guy. I don't get, you know, I'm of course 4 years old and I'm a guy. I don't get the whole shit behind Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You know, so I would call him Leonardo DiCaprio, and then Catch Me If You Can, Gangs of New York, Inception. Still haven't seen The Revenant, which is, I love the Russian title for that movie.
Which is
I believe it's Man Looking for a Good Time in the Woods. Something like that.
all right. So I feel like we should end it there. And
Let's end it there.
Dan, thank you so much for being with us. Do you want to do this again sometime? We love having you. At least I do. I don't know about you,
Sure.
Todd. You look like you fucking hated him every second.
Well,
of
he
him.
likes the Cat
We'll
in
be
the Hat
sure
and the
to
Man
be
of Steel.
talking about Cat in the Hat more often.
Next week we're gonna talk about the Cat in the Hat.
Yes, but next week we're gonna have another guest. His name is Chance Davis. Look out for it. Next week on Filmplay.
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 Good night.
Good luck.
Good film.
Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the
El
Hat.
gato en a sombrero. Ole, ole, ole.
Good
ole,
night.
ole.
Good night. Good luck. Good fuck. Gotta wish everyone a good fuck.
All right, we're done.
All right, cut it out.